Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Tony's show. I normally do shows every other day, and if I'm wearing you out, I apologize. Um, Primarily because I'm doing these shows like this because so much is coming out. I mean, you'll get a spurt, and then you get a dry spell, and then you're looking for high and low for content, and then there are days where just there's not you can't turn it off. And and this weekend's been one of those weekends. Well, yeah, yesterday or the day before, we're in the 24th, so I guess we are 2 days. I did a show, and I showed a document, a PDF, where the evangelical, and I wouldn't call them Christians, and I'm not going to call them Christians. I'm going to call them what they are: bastards, sons of Belial, children of the devil. Sherry calls them witches. And I think she's mild. But then again, she is down south. And I live in Canada, and we have a different vernacular up here than they do down there. And witches may be appropriate down there, but I call them bastards. And the reason why I use the term bastards is because I was talking to a buddy of mine who deals with the esoteric, and I said, we were talking about this whole thing. And when you're talking about Jesus, he was with the Pharisees, and he called them, and he said, "You're of your father the devil, you're serpents, you're sons of Belial." This just goes to show you, even in Jesus' day, he had to deal with this religious shit that is going on. Well, a bastard is nothing but an illegitimate child. And these bastards are illegitimate children of the devil. So I don't have a problem calling them bastards. Now, if you do, and you think bastard is a harsh word, okay, I grew up in the ghetto. Bastard is actually kind of mild compared to some of the language we used to use. So talking to a buddy of mine out west, referring to island people. I'm a descendant of island people. He came from the islands. And so, there's a certain way people talk, a certain way of communication. And a lot of times it's very straight, salt of the earth, and that's the way I am, salt of the earth, And if you can't handle it, oh well, find yourself another channel. But I will tell you here the way it is, how I see it, what I perceive, based on what I have studied, researched, and found out, and tested. So when you see these people, now there's a YouTube channel where they are coming out and saying that you need... Now, again, for those of you who believe in the living God, and haven't got sucked into this message is not for you. But for the rest of these people that are going blindly to these places, listening to these people spout out a ministerial message that isn't from God, like I said, they could either be Jesuits, Masonic, Zionists that have infiltrated into the Christian movement or the believers movement, and have convoluted the movement with their bullshit. And now when you hear them saying that you shouldn't listen to anybody who's politicizing the mask, they're the ones politicizing it. They're the ones playing this word game. It's a word crafting game. This is what these guys are good at. Taking verses, taking things, and saying things that seem to appear to be a truism. But in all reality, it's just basically bullshit. And it's a lie, and it's a manipulation. And this is what they've done. They have made this an art, a craft, and a skill. And they have word crafted. And this goes on in the cults all the time. All the cults. The ones I was with, all the ones running around today, the ones that perpetrate to be, they're not a cult, but they are a cult. There are a lot of them like that. A lot of them like that. If you go to any place, any institution, and they want you to listen to what they've got to say and follow what they've got to say to the letter without thinking, questioning, or even analyzing whatever it is you're doing, and analyzing and questioning things outside the realm of their system of teaching you to interpret, then you're in a cult. You may not know it. You may not even agree with it. I don't care. That's a cult. If you can't analyze, question, and challenge the status quo of wherever you're at, and they want you to insist that you follow the guidelines that they have set forth without questioning them in the manner that they want you to question. If they're trying to control your way of thinking, you are in a cult. Period. Or a sect. Once they've got your mind, once they've got your thinking process under their thumb, they have you under their control. And with that in mind, remember this: they can now get you to do stuff you never thought you'd ever do. They got you that manhandled, manipulated, and twisted around their finger. Using terms like, well, whatever they may be. It could be pleasing God, pleasing Jehovah, pleasing El Shaddai, pleasing whatever. Getting caught up on that Shabbat and all that nonsense. Getting you thinking that you're even a Christian Judaic believer. No such thing. Either you're following Jesus or you're not. That simple. You can read the Old Testament, whatever, but your covenant is a different covenant. It's a new covenant, not an old one. You're not under the laws. You're under the blood. That's even stronger. When you're listening to anybody telling you to take the vaccine, now this is the ludicrousy in this, the insane stupidity in this, that you're going to tell a congregation to take a vaccine and you don't even know what's in the damn thing. And you're going to blindly tell them to obey and take the vaccine. You're worse than an effing murderer. And I really got to be careful tonight because it's very easy for me to get into that Canadian mode again. After what I saw today, I'm just pissed to the gills here. And I'm not drunk, pissed, angry, enraged. When they tell you this kind of crap, to just accept without thinking, and to follow and obey without thinking, then what you're following in that congregation is a satanic bastard. That's simple. And he's misleading you into the abyss. And I know for some of you this is really hard for you to get. I get that. Being involved in two cults and going through a whole mind screwery of my own, and coming through that and coming out of it, it's very hard because you've been loyal to whatever congregation, fellowship, church, or temple or synagogue you've been involved with. This doesn't just apply to Christians. This also applies to those people of other faiths and other beliefs. Same thing. If you got a imam or you got a rabbi that says, kill in the name of Jehovah, kill in the name of Allah. Well, really? You need to kill for Allah? You need to kill for Jehovah? Really? God that can create a universe with just a word, just by speaking it, needs you to kill? Something's wrong with that paradigm, don't you think? Just a concept, make you think just a wee bit. But my point here on this is this. You need to really realize that you got people telling you to follow and to obey something that we have absolutely, first and foremost, there's no proof of COVID even existing. If you look at tonight's links, you will see a link there from an Italian doctor. For those of you who speak Italian and you have relatives that don't speak English, you might want them to listen to this doctor. There's also English subtitles there for those who don't speak Italian. When you hear this doctor, you're going to be pissed. Pissed, and I don't mean drinking alcohol, I mean angry. Super, super, super mad. Share this with the Italian community. Share that with the Italian community in your local areas as well as in, states, provinces, and then send it over to Italy. Get the Italians to wake up and stay awake. Right now, the Ghana president in Ghana is having a faction probably set up by the CIA to undermine his power because he refuses to mask his people, he refuses to vaccinate his people, and he refuses to shut the churches down, and he's allowing his people to go to church and not be affected or infected by the technology that they want to infect them. They want to get, listen, they've never liked colored people. They've never liked colored people. They always had something with colored people. I don't use the term black because I've never seen a black man, so I use the term color because that encompasses everybody. Light skin, dark skin, in between light and dark, and somewhat brown. You know, these are people of color. And the people of Africa, for some reason, have been always under the gun. I don't fully understand it. I don't get it completely, but I do get that when you're talking natural resources and the people that are undeveloped have no technology to protect themselves, they make them an easy prey to be targeted, violated, and robbed. And that's what's been going on. So, the Ghana president right now has an uphill fight because he's got antagonists that are trying to undermine his power because he refuses. Now this guy's got some brass tacks. I got to tell you, I respect this man. I don't know him, but I respect him. I respect the fact that he took a stand. I respect that he's taken a stand over overwhelming odds. I get that feeling. I understand that one really well too. And I get the fact that he's got to now fight with an opposition that's been set up by external forces. See, the vaccine, when it comes, now this is speculation now, and I will be the first to admit it's speculation. But the concept of taking the vaccine is to compromise the chromosome 8 that you have, which is basically one of your main chromosomes that generates everything in your body, from your DNA to your immune system to your skeletal system, everything. It's what initiates the program to get it going. So I was told that when they take a test, this is what they're looking for. They're looking for that chromosome 8 so they can better diagnose how to shut you down. Imagine this. Now imagine this. I want you to picture in your mind a drone. A drone flying over a little village, let's say a village of about 1,000 people. And now there's been samples of everybody's chromosomes in that community. So now they fly a program. They're flying a program in regarding to everybody's chromosome code in that village. And now they release the nanobots, they release the insects, the MAVs, they release all the things into the area that can now target a person just by chromosome code alone. It hits you, you all of a sudden collapse, all of a sudden you're weak, all of a sudden you're sick, and all of a sudden now you can't recover. Okay, you can't recover. So when you're in that state, then the shot will come along. Well, we have a shot that can help you. Now they give you the chip inside your body. Again, this is just speculation. I'm getting you to get a visual here. That chip now controls the flow of the chromosome 8. And it's been speculated that the adrenochrome may be the only thing you may be able to live on in order to sustain your life. Now that would mean that you would be a cannibal or a vampire feeding on other life forces in order to sustain your life. And if you don't think that's possible and you think that's some sort of far-fetched sci-fi movie, you might want to get caught up on adrenochrome and see where that comes from. You might want to get caught up on the nanobiology and nanobiotech, and you can see what they're doing with it today and how it can interface. I mean, they even got little robots now that will target cells specifically. Okay, and so when you're looking at all of this information, and then you're hearing these TV bastards saying what they're saying in regarding to murdering, killing, sacrificing people in their congregation. This is beyond belief incorrigible. That these people would come out and put those statements on. And some of them, I have to admit, some of them probably put the statements on because they probably were threatened. Threatened that if you don't sign this, if you don't say this, if you don't do what we tell you, we will take you off the air. Well, some of those TV bastards are making millions. Millions. There's that ministry down in Texas there, Orwell, whatever his name is. You know, he makes over $1 million on a weekend. That's his take-in. We're looking at a lot of different things today in regarding to what is up and down. And more things are coming out. Again, seeing this game becoming more and more wide open. So don't allow anybody, and I mean anybody, in any church, synagogue, temple, place of worship, whatever it may be, don't let the hierarchy lead you down the path of this fakery that's going on. I expect the same thing is going to happen to Muslims. I expect the same things are going to happen to Hindus. I expect the same things are going to happen to Buddhists. I expect the same thing are going to happen to the Sikhs. I expect the same thing are going to happen to the Baha'i. I expect the same thing are going to happen to the native population. They're going to have their religious leaders come along and say, yes, it's okay. God has said it's okay for you to take the shot. It's His will. It's His blessing. This is His blessing to help you so that you can fight the COVID. This is the rhetoric that will be spoken. And what I'm saying, a lot of you have heard in some form or fashion. God is going to bless us. God is going to bless us. He is going to bless us with this vaccine. Oh, this vaccine is going to be such a blessing because it's going to protect you all from the COVID. Oh, you need to take the shot. You need to just comply and accept the vaccine because this is God's blessing for you. I could be a preacher. I could be a TV bastard. I can see some of the ministers now. You better not. Gotta set your ass on fire. I know that. Jesus had the same dilemma. I had some guy write me some bullshit, on an email. I get these people that write me these things. They think they're doing me a favor. They're just wasting my time. I had one person say she was loving the devil. Loving the devil. Just open the door, let them in. Why not? Another one is to talk to me about, loving and forgiving and how we need to be forgiving, because I made a comment about this transgenetic reject from a test tube that we got here in Canada. And this person couldn't say it. I thought, you know what? If you can't say it, don't even bother emailing me. If you ain't got the balls to see the devil in front of you and you just want to hide, well then, run and hide. Go find yourself a little cubby hole. Some of us are going to stand our ground. I don't want this shit in my country. Period. Nobody should want this shit in their country. Period. And we need to, again, fight this. And you know what? We may die in the process. That's a possibility. But you know what? Living under this tyranny is not living. Period. It is not living. You got to wear a mask to go outside. You got to wear a mask to go to the washroom. You got to wear a mask when you're making love. You got to wear a mask to wipe your arse. You got to wear a mask when you're driving. I mean, seriously? How is it now, while we're on the mask topic here, how is it China is not wearing a mask? Oh, wait till you see the link I got on YouTube. Oh, the Chinese are having a pool party. We're not talking about 10 or 12. We're not talking about 5 or 6. We're talking about thousands. And thousands are in an auditorium. And they're out there having a party. And nobody's wearing a mask. Matter of fact, they're half naked. What I mean by half naked, they got a bathing suit on and they got no top. In other words, these are guys with no t-shirts, got a swimming suit, and they are there. And then you got the gals up on the top with the disco and the tattoos, and they're just rocking and bopping, and nobody's wearing a mask, and the social distancing doesn't even exist. And they're having a party. You know why they're having a party? They're saying those dumb bastards in North America, they're so damn stupid. We got them believing that there's something that's going on that doesn't exist. Oh, we're going to have a party on their expense. Matter of fact, they made us rich. We're building these masks for them. We're building these gloves for them. Bill Gates is rich. Bezos is rich. Elon Musk is rich. Ho, ho, ho. Everybody's rich except those dummies over there in the West. We got the job shut down. They can't go to church. But you can go to Walmart. We'll give you a little bit of a token paycheck, $2,000 a month or $1,200 US, and you can now go shopping. Now you have freedom. Freedom. You're living in a democracy because now you can go shopping. Can't talk to God. No, you can't talk to God. Can't go to church. Can't fellowship. Can't even talk to a fellow believer. No, because the fellow believer might believe you might have COVID, so he's got a suit of armor on. He's got a mask. He's got his hand condoms. He's got his sanitizer. He's got his mask on his front. He's got his mask on his back, and now he's protected. I never understood what happened to the immunity. What happened to the immune system? I forgot to post a picture up. I'll have to do it in the next show. But the United Kingdom now has posted on their telecommunications post that 6G is up and running. 6G. So in other words, they haven't been putting in 5G in the UK. They've been putting in 6G. 6G. Who's been telling you 6G's been what they're putting up? They're doing the same bullshit in the Commonwealth, throughout the Commonwealth. Not 5G, we're 6G. Okay, but they now have a sign. I got to get the sign, I got to get the picture, and I'll have to put it up on a PDF and then post it. But we're, like I said, man, we are in fun and games. And I'll tell you something. Canada and the United States are going to go broker than broke. Broker than broke. I was at the mall last Saturday. We had a protest there, so I decided to go, and I went. And I actually went up to the police officer. I had my exemption form. I went in. I talked to him. Said, "Hey, how's it going? Am I going to have any problem going into the mall?" He said, "No, don't worry about it. Just go on in." Then he said to me, he said, "They blew it all out of proportion, completely out of proportion." Now, I had friends of mine tell me that only like 8 people showed up. I went in there. I think I saw only one other person that didn't wear a mask. But I'll tell you what I did see. For every 3 stores I seen on the right side or the left side, 1 was open, 2 were closed. Either they were closed or they were empty. Devonshire Mall is done. And I'll tell you something else I saw, which I thought was really ludicrous. They had people lined up to go into certain stores. I mean, they were lined up probably 20, 30 feet long. To go into a store? I don't have that kind of time. I can always go tomorrow. That kind of thing. But they had them lined up. And I walked everywhere through the mall, and I saw store after store either empty, vacant, or closed. That mall will not survive. So that mall may wind up being a FEMA camp, in Windsor. It's a possibility. And again, there's speculation at this point. Speculation. When I start seeing Costco becoming more depleted than what they are, then I will then be more concerned with that one, because that one is making money. And if that gets really low on the inventory, then we are not that far away from a possible meltdown here in Windsor. Keep your eye on that. That's one thing you need to really keep your eye on, because sorry, I had hit the wrong button there. That's the one thing you need to pay attention to, because, like I said, we are in this quagmire, and it is a quagmire. We are in this situation where the game goes on and on. And you know what? A lot of Canadians, unfortunately, have fallen into the trap. They're dumb. They just got sucked in, and they haven't been able to deduce that this thing is all a front. I mean, they're not making any money in China with the mask nonsense. And this What I'm talking about was in Wuhan, where the so-called COVID, the coronavirus first came out. This is the con of the century. All these billionaires, they should take their money, all of them, and pay off the national debt of the world. That would be the year of Jubilee in the Bible. Every country's debt is wiped clean. We start over from scratch. And these guys who have made money in the manner that they've made it, oh well, I guess you can start over. I put on there as well a video called Mosquito Week, where you see the mosquitoes looking like they're in the shape of the symbol of death. Because earlier in the week, they came out and stated that they were going to release 750 million mosquitoes in Florida. You know bloody well, this is biological warfare. America is under a major assault. So is Canada. So is Australia. Australia is getting their ass handed to them. And now New Zealand. Commonwealth is under an attack. And I think we need to really wake up on that reality and do something about it. I really do think that this is what's needed and what's called for. We have sat there being loyal subjects, if you will, people of a peaceful coexistence, trying to live our lives and find some happiness in some form or fashion, not causing any trouble, being very, I guess, submissive to the system, and this is what we get for that. This is what we've gotten. This is the gratitude that the governments of the Commonwealth have done. They have now basically defaced all the Commonwealth, and now we're in this quagmire, this spiraling down. So like I said, we need to really take a hard look. We need to maybe exchange a lot of data between the Commonwealth, because we need to know what's going on in each country and share what we're doing here and what you're doing there to see what can work, and then, get ahead. Let's get ahead of the game. We've already been through some things here. Maybe we can help New Zealand get ahead and stay ahead so that they can't do anything. Possibility. We can exchange ideas. Same with Australia. Australia has gone down the farthest so far. Them and the States, pretty much. And the States, we know that's all political nonsense. It's because of this election coming up. If it comes up. That's another possibility that may not happen. So again, maybe as the Commonwealth, we start sharing and exchanging ideas with each other so that we can put a kibosh to this bullshit once and for all. Take back our country and get rid of these transgenetic rejects from a test tube. I saw the health minister in New Zealand. I actually could recognize that was a guy. That actually was a guy. That was a transgenetic reject from a test tube. It actually almost looked like the one we got here, except what you got there is more of a Anglo-Saxon or British. I think it looks British. And we got an Asian. Either way, it's not a good thing. Both are transgenetic rejects from a test tube, And they need to go back to the WHO. They need to go back to the lab, and get recycled or whatever they do with them. They actually was able to tell the difference. I have a hard time now. See, I'm old school, and I'm one of those guys that I grew up with women, so I know what a woman looks like. I know the body parts. I know the anatomy. I've learned that too over time. And so when I used to see the Hollywood TV people, I'd say, "Oh, that's a good-looking gal. Oh, that's a really good-looking gal. Oh, wow, that one's really hot." I basically being a male and having testosterone, and when I was younger, I would say, "Oh, ho, ho, look." Now I've had women tell me, friends of mine, saying, "That's a guy." I said, "What? That ain't no guy. Look what it's got. It's got, it's got all the parts." Those are fabricated. Oh man, don't tell me that. It's gotten to a point now where a guy can't tell if a guy's a gal or a gal's a guy. Oh, geez, man, that's so. I don't even bother even looking at anything anymore. If I see something, I just keep my eyes shut or I look down and just I don't even want to think, because But anyway, that thing you got in New Zealand is a guy. I mean, it's definitely a guy. I can tell. So. But like I said, who gave these bastards any rights to tell us anything? And I get these people that, we should be forgiving them. Forgive my ass. Forgive. Yeah, we can forgive, for sure, after they've been removed from power and things get reset or reestablished in a way where this can never happen again. This is, like I said, this is beyond belief when I see the stuff I see. And then you just want to turn the cheek, you just want to walk away? Really? That to me is a thing of cowardice, because you don't want to take any action. You just want to sit on your hands and say, oh God, I forgive them. Oh yeah, God, I forgive them, God. I do, I forgive. And I'm not saying you shouldn't forgive, but I'm also saying there needs to be rectification for this. There needs to be some kind of retribution for what has happened here. You didn't just screw one person or two people, you screwed a whole country. You screwed a whole nation. This is a betrayal, this is a treasonous act that should be, again, dealt with through retribution, so this doesn't happen again. And if this does happen, if there is retribution, the land will find peace again. Yes, people will go to God. Yes, people will repent. Yes, this is we should be repenting that we allowed this kind of stupidity to take over, and then we allowed it on our watch. That's what we should be repenting from. But anyway, that's neither here nor there at this point. It's here. We have to deal with it. So anyway, I wanted to present this tonight because, like I said, I saw these things and I thought, oh geez, I gotta get this out. The thing that, like I said, irked my ire tonight was seeing this thing with the evangelicals coming out and telling the brethren, or telling the congregations, that go ahead and take a vaccine even though you don't know what it is. Look, let me tell you, people that go to these churches or watch these TV bastards, because that's what they are. These are bastards, and Jesus called them worse. Sons of Belial, I found out, was really bad. That's even worse. And they're of the same ilk. These guys are not doctors, they're not medical practitioners, they're not even government agencies, officials. All they know is how they appear to be whatever, because they can read the Bible and interpret, or supposedly interpret, the scriptures for you. They have no knowledge, no clue, nothing. Ask them to show you the COVID genetic code. Go ahead, ask any of them to show you the COVID genetic code. They can't do it because they don't know what it looks like. Period. Tell them to show you the PCR test that can actually do a diagnostic and break down the COVID genetic code over into 1 million different breakdowns. Go ahead and ask them to show you that. They can't do it because it doesn't exist. So if they can't show you a COVID virus, and you haven't seen anybody drop dead around you, then why are you listening to these sons of Belial? Why are you listening to these children of Moloch? Why are you listening to these children of Baal? Why? As far as last I checked, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, could be wrong, but the last I checked, the one we should be listening to is the one who died on the cross and came back from the dead. That's the one we should be listening to, don't you think? Just my thinking anyway. I always tell people, at the end of my messages, I'll say it even now, read the Gospels. Those of you who've been going to church for so long that you've now fallen asleep and you got an ass groove in the pew that you sit in. Is it a pew? I think it's a pew. Yeah, a pew that you sit in. You got an ass groove. maybe you might want to crack open that dusty Bible of yours and read the Gospels. Start with what Jesus had to say. Jesus wasn't crazy about people like this who were put in authority that were abusing the authority. I believe if you read Matthew 23, you might find he was a little pissed off at these people and had some choice words for them. Just my thinking anyway. You might want to crack it open, have a look, take a walk on the wild side. You might be surprised. Anyway, where are we at here? Yeah, I'm going to call it wind it. I'm going to wind it down. Like I said, I've already done a couple shows. As I just stated, read the Gospels. I had some young guy contact me and says, well, I read the Gospels, but they're kind of hard for me to read. Always talk to God first before you read His Word. It would be a good idea. I do it. I mean, sometimes even when I'm reading it, God, I don't understand Godese. What are you saying here? That kind of thing. And then somewhere along the way, I get the answer, or I figure it out, or somebody comes along and, oh, that's what God meant. Okay, that kind of thing. But start off with that. Have a talk one-on-one with the Great One, and then start looking at it. And look, even if you don't understand all of it, it don't matter. The Bible has an interesting, what I call, program. It's, for lack of a better word, it's not a program, but for lack of a better word, this is what I'm using. It's designed that no matter where you're at in your faith or your belief or your desire, it'll meet you wherever you are. This is the interesting thing about that book. And when you start reading and start growing and developing your understanding in God's Word, the meanings of those words will start to evolve with you. You'll start to grow. You'll start to see things a little deeper and a little more clarity. And it's a way of evolution. Again, it's not a bad term. Evolution just means grow and change. So you may find even if you don't get it, don't worry about it. Just keep plucking away. It's like anything else. When you were learning how to ride a bike, you get on the bike and you start pedaling, and then you fall on your ass. Then you get up, pick up the bike, dust your knees, put a Band-Aid on your knees because you probably scraped them and they're bleeding, and you start riding again. Till one day, you're on that bike, you're not falling down anymore, you're driving, and now you're going at high speeds, and you think, oh, this is so cool, because you've evolved, you've grown, and you've developed. This will be no different. I'd encourage everybody to do this. And again, if you've never read it, there's always the first time for everything. And like I always say, you've read everything else. What book haven't you read? Take a walk on the wild side. You might be surprised. I'm always mentioning the people in the group there that I've got on the Podbean channel. And these are people that put out a lot of time and effort. Aroy, he's always pumping my stuff on the YouTube channel. This is the guy from Switzerland. Aha, I got you that time, Aroy. Switzerland. Watch your word. It was Sweden. We have a very salted earth language when we talk. Most of us that are off the microphone. So anyway, and we're always exchanging ideas. But he puts in a lot of work and a lot of time. Brian 396 does the same thing. Sherry at Three Hearts Church, she's always studying and putting out a ministry for everybody. She's doing her best to get everybody awake. You got Shai over in Israel. He does his thing over there. Then you got me over here. Doing my thing. I'm up 19 hours a day kind of thing, doing whatever research and development I can. I'm working on another project right now. I think I might have something. I got to talk it over with some of the guys I work with. But so like I said, people are putting in hard, long hours to do some of the things that they're doing so that you can have at your disposal, information that might help you. Some of you may not like what I got to say. Oh, well, say la vie. I'm sure you'll get over it. But in the end, it's designed not to intimidate or control you in any way, shape, or form. But it's there to illuminate, expose, shine, reveal what's there, what's going on, and some possibilities for you to engage in. it's important that you still keep maintaining the need to get ready. You've got to get ready. You've got to start putting stuff aside. Your time is running out. By probably October, November, the shortages will probably show up more and more. They'll manifest more and more. They're already starting in some places. So, like I said, when we're looking at the things that are coming down, another thing I wanted to mention about stockpiling is water. Go buy those big 5-gallon distilled waters and start putting some aside. Whatever you think you need. Figure for every person in the house, you need a gallon a day. 5 people, 5 gallons. So start stockpiling as much as you can. It'll be important that you have water. If they should shut down the essential services like hydro and water, then at least you'll have it on hand. Doesn't go bad, stay sealed. If you need to preserve your water to keep it clean, you can take either a gallon of distilled or reverse osmosis water, the only ones I use, add either 8 drops of bleach or 8 drops of iodine, shake it up and let it sit there. Seal it up, and that will hold your water so no contaminants, live contaminants, pathologies can get in there. So we're saying bleach, it'll dissolve. After a day or so, you won't even know it's there. So when you're looking at things to do, canned goods, again, tuna with water, salt, and fish, corned beef. If it's got sodium nitrate, not a big deal. Have some vitamin C on hand so that you can take the vitamin C with it, so that you can neutralize these nitrates and nitrites. Potatoes, dehydrated potatoes. Grow your potatoes. Grow onions. Onions neutralize acrylamide in potatoes. Same with garlic. These are things you want to grow. Things you can stockpile right now if you can. Throw them in the freezer. They'll hold. The garlic will. Any dry form of gelatin, collagen, powdered egg, powdered milk, canned milk with fat in it, so that if you make the powdered milk, you can add the canned milk with it to get your fat content. Butter. They've got butter now they've got it in some sort of dry form. I don't know if it's good or bad. I'd have to read the ingredients and read how they actually process this. But you can buy canned butter. Unfortunately, it comes from New Zealand. We don't have butter in Canada in a can. We don't have butter in the United States in a can, but they do have it in New Zealand. Go figure. Like I said, the Commonwealth needs to stay in touch. Alrighty, I just gave you a little bit of a tidbit. Any dried fruit, try to keep it with citrus, apple, pineapple, papaya. Leave the berries alone. Leave all the berries alone. They are loaded heavily with metal. Same with the grapes. If you're going to get vinegar, stock up on vinegar, but use the distilled vinegar. Nothing with this mother nonsense in it that mother crap has. Yeah, it's got this mother, but it's also got nano metal in there. So again, you may want to consider just getting a distilled version of it. This way, at least it will hold. You can use it for cleaning. You could use it for health. You can make garlic and vinegar, onion and vinegar as a remedy. So you got vinegar is used for a lot of different things. Stockpile bleach, stockpile iodine, stockpile peroxide. These are things you want to stockpile. All right, on that note, I will leave you to your studying and your analyzing and prospects. And till the next segment, to your health. Remember, we're still here by the grace of God. Have a good one.